Hi, I'm Dave Anderson. In this video, we'll review how the government uses fiscal policy to help stabilize the economy. Fiscal policy is the government's use of purchases of goods and services, transfers of money that are not in exchange for goods and services, and taxes to influence aggregate demand. The goods and services the government purchases include infrastructure such as roads and bridges, military hardware and personnel, schools, and space programs. In the United States, most transfer payments are for three programs: Social Security, which provides income for retired and disabled Americans, Medicare, which helps older Americans with healthcare costs, and Medicaid, which helps low-income Americans with healthcare costs. Taxes include the sales and excise taxes you pay when you buy goods and services, the income and payroll taxes you pay on your earnings, and the property taxes you pay if you own a car or a home. When the economy is facing a recession, as shown by a recessionary gap on the aggregate demand-aggregate supply graph, the government can carry out expansionary fiscal policy, which is fiscal policy that increases aggregate demand. This might involve increasing government purchases, increasing transfers, or decreasing taxes. When the economy is facing inflation, as shown by an inflationary gap on our aggregate demand-aggregate supply graph, the government can carry out contractionary fiscal policy, which is fiscal policy that decreases aggregate demand. This might involve decreasing government purchases, decreasing transfers, or increasing taxes. Don't confuse fiscal policy with monetary policy, which is carried out by the Federal Reserve System and involves changes in the money supply and interest rates. When the government increases aggregate demand with expansionary fiscal policy, the economy gets an added boost because spending causes more spending. Recall that the spending multiplier is the total amount of spending that results from each $1 of new spending in the economy. To determine the spending multiplier, we need to know the marginal propensity to consume, which is the fraction of new income that is spent rather than saved. If you received $100 today, how much of that would you spend? If you'd spend $80, which is 80%, and save the rest, then your marginal propensity to consume is 0.8. The spending multiplier is 1 over 1 minus the marginal propensity to consume. So if the marginal propensity to consume is 0.8, the spending multiplier is 1 over 1 minus 0.8, which is 1 over 0.2, which is 5. In that case, each $1 of new spending in the economy results in a total of $5 of spending. For example, suppose the government spends $100 on bike repairs for its police force. The bike shop owner might save some of that money, but he will spend the rest on things like lunch at the Egyptian restaurant next door. The restaurant owner will save some of that money and spend some of it at the bakery down the street. That process will continue until all of the money has leaked into savings. In the end, the total increase in spending will be the initial expenditure of $100 times the multiplier. If the multiplier is 5, the total increase in spending will be $100 times 5, or $500. If the government wanted to help the economy out of a recession, it might purchase an extra $100 billion worth of goods and services, which would increase spending in the economy by as much as $500 billion with the help of the spending multiplier. Here's a question for you. If the marginal propensity to consume were 0.75, what would the multiplier be, and how much total spending could result from an extra $100 billion worth of spending by the government? The multiplier would be 4, and a total of $400 billion worth of spending could result. The multiplier also works in reverse. If the government wants to slow the economy down, it can purchase fewer goods and services, which results in less spending by the people who would otherwise receive money from the government. That's our review of how fiscal policy works. You can help stimulate your local economy with some expansionary policy of your own, and the spending multiplier will apply there as well. I'd like one of everything, please.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. I'd like one of everything, please.
Okay.